So this first question was basically saying that the psychologist has used Spearman's rank correlation coefficient test to analyse the data from the study. Explain why this is an appropriate test to use. So basically, you use a Spearman's if you are looking for a correlation between two variables. And the variables in this one are maths scores and physics scores, or maths test scores, physics test scores. So you get a mark for saying use it when it's a correlation, and you get a mark for putting it in context and saying maths and physics. So if you didn't mention maths and physics, you'd have likely have dropped a mark. This question here asks, explain how the data would be ranked for use in this test. You basically just have to say that you would rank the maths scores from low to high, and you would rank the physics scores from low to high. So you had to basically mention low to high, and you had to mention maths, and you had to mention physics, and that would get you context mark. And that was really all it was asking for. It does specify how, so it needs to know how you would actually rank, so the low to high. It may seem obvious to you, but that is what it is asking you for. So if you make it simple and just write that, you will pick up a mark for it. Number 12 said the inferential test result produced a calculated value of plus 0.7083. Explain what this means. Quite a few people were confused about this. This is a correlation coefficient. It tells you whether or not you've got a correlation. Now, if there's a positive there, then it's a positive correlation. If there's a negative there, it's a negative correlation. So that was one comment you could make. It's 0.7, so that's, some people have described it as moderate, but it's moderate to strong. So moderate or strong is fine. It's probably more strong than moderate, I would say personally, but it's completely up to you whether you put one or the other. But you would say that there is a positive, strong correlation, and then you put it in context. So you say between maths and physics scores. Now it does say explain what this means. So what it means is that if you get a high score on a maths test, then you're likely to get a high score on the physics test as well. So you need to explain what that meant for that third mark. The next question was asking, what does the term critical value refer to? Again, a lot of confusion on this question, but basically what it is a figure, so a number, in a table of critical values. And this is compared with the observed value from an inferential test to see if findings are significant given a level of probability. Now it's a bit harsh, this question, because it's only for 1 mark, so if you didn't say that in full, then you're going to have lost a mark, because you might have been halfway there, but if it's not specific enough, then you can't get the mark. It's almost like that is a definition. So if you didn't write that fully, you need to make a note of that, memorise it, and then if that question gets asked again, you write it exactly like that. Question 14 was, how would the critical value be obtained in this study? Now this study, remember, is about a correlation, so you have to mention that you're getting the critical value from the critical values table of a Spearman's raw or Spearman's rank correlation. A lot of you are saying getting the critical value from a table, but you need to mention the statistical test because that's your context that is applicable to this study. So you have to kind of say critical values table for Spearman's raw ranks. You also have to say that you would find the number of participants that have got a maths score and a physics score. So in this case it's 8. So it says in this study, so it wants you to calculate it. So there's 8 participants. If we scroll back up to the table, you will see in there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 participants. And they've put it on in letters on purpose so that you have to actually calculate it. So it would be A, and then you would locate the critical value by comparing it to the significance level of 0.05. So you have to say all of that to get 2 marks. So they're very, very picky with these stats questions in what you actually put in. So if you put all that in, you'd have got the marks, and if not, you'd have dropped a mark, or you've got no marks at all.